Hello everyone, this is Raphael from MyFractal Range. So we've decided to do this space with Vi to talk about a new step we are taking with MyFractal Range, new items that we are going to make available for our elite subscribers pretty soon. So to talk about those new items, we have Vi here. So Vi, I'm going to ask you some questions, and this is the way we're gonna do at first, and then we're gonna open the floor for anyone who wants to ask questions to you about those new tools that we will open. Okay. So first of all, before I ask more questions about pivots, targets, can you give a general idea of what MyFractal Range will be providing and why? You've been mentioning a newsletter. What will it be about and for whom?
Hi, everyone. So excited to be here today and excited to talk about this new step and new natural evolution of MyFractal Range as a platform, as a tool. And first of all, MyFractal Range always was and is a risk management platform, which is created to help users to risk manage their positions, to know risk profiles of different assets, also metrics like momentum and our data. But always from talking with users and from also seeing how people are actually using the platform and what's important and what's required, we understood that the next natural step is to actually take it even further and help people with not only risk management of their positions, which is of course will always be the main and most important part of the platform, but also to help with their trade executions. Trade executions, significant areas and prices where it is statistically significant and important, and where it makes sense to initiate some positions if a user wants to initiate any position in any given asset, or where it makes sense to reduce positions and so on. So in the future, MyFractal Range will not only be the risk management tool as it is now, but we will introduce a trade execution features as well. And these features will be available sometime in the near future. We are thinking if we don't have any technical difficulties, maybe from July 1st, I would say about 90% that we will be able to make them all available for July 1st. But basically, it will include new data points. These data points will be so-called pivots and targets for the market, where the market is likely to go, and where are significant key areas where the turn can happen, or if a breakout happens, also the more farther levels where this market is going. And of course, the goal of today is to give you a quick explanation of what it is, how it can be used, and what's the value for it, and of course the most important thing, how to use it together with what's already available on MyFractal Range, because these new additions will not be replacement for ranges, and our data points is just even another step to help people to stop executing at the wrong places. So first data point, as mentioned, will be pivots and targets, and I will talk about targets a bit later because it's the most complex and data points that are outputs of our models. But pivots are very simple. Pivots are not being calculated using any complex maths or models or something, but these are very important price levels to look at where something changes in the markets and where buying and selling or selling can accelerate. And even though these levels are not proprietary, but I think that not a lot of people are paying attention to those. So quick examples are like the pivots that are the most important for me are, of course, things like yearly open, quarterly open, monthly open, or settlement prices, OPEX prices. These are the significant levels in the markets where something changes, and that something can be simply where rebalancing happens, where quad witching or triple witching expired for those who are familiar with options, also where significant events happen. So what was the level for that? And these levels are the ones where you will almost always see a rejection or acceleration of the move to the same direction where the move is already going. Simple example is today that basically NQ tried to take its yearly open, which is, in my opinion, the most important number for the entire year, and now it's rejecting that. So market can get trouble going through that. And of course, if it breaks tomorrow or any day in the future, you can be sure that momentum to the upside will accelerate. But of course, this is not the main point, which is this is just the data point that is important for our execution, for knowing where we are at and where are potential spots for us to do some adjustments in our positions. The main data point is the targets, and targets are actually outputs of basically the same models that are being used to generate ranges and other exponents that we provide. And these are based on the fractal nature of markets, and my entire work is based basically on the same premise, which is the premise that the greats in the past already discovered and talked about, that things like market has memory, and that there are cycles, and there are cycles and rotations in all the time frames, no matter what time horizons you look at. There are big cycles, and inside those big cycles there are smaller cycles and smaller rotations and smaller and so on. So it's just the explanation of everything that I do. But yeah, these targets are the expected measured moves of the markets, and to both sides. So of course we are not predicting the directional move. So it's not like, oh, now we are going up, or now for sure we will go down. We are not predicting momentum, but if a move happens, if momentum happens, these are the prices where the end of the move will statistically likely to occur, and also it will give you the confidence and the conviction that, for example, if market is going further, that it will go to the next level. It means that it's not likely to stop somewhere around. Simple example from our pinned targets and from tweets that we are doing now is, of course, Tesla on one side that, for example, yesterday it reached the target of 320 and it got some trouble, but today, after some time, it finally broke. And when it actually happened, the momentum accelerated, and now we all see what move Tesla, what additional move Tesla had when that level was broken, and how it is supposed to be used is, of course, to give you conviction that if you're long to hold the part of your position for longer and not to close it too early just because you think that the market is overbought or that the economy is doing bad or something, because the markets are always moving in cycles, and these reversals usually happen always at significant areas. And another point, which for me is actually even more important, it will give you the cheapest places to initiate positions if you, like I said, if you are looking at some asset and have your view and planning to initiate these positions. Because what do I mean by cheapest possible way? Because you will be executing at places where you will know immediately that if you bought a break of a level, let's say like Google, the projected base downside was 148, it went to 148, and you see that it's not going down further. Let's say you execute some initial position, you will know immediately that if it goes below to 147 or something like that, you will know that you need to get out. Because these significant areas always have this reaction, and if it breaks and if it closes below, statistically, that asset will go way lower. So of course you don't want to hold that. Yeah, so this is the short introduction. Raf, what you want me to touch on?
So yeah, the main question, I guess, that many of our users are gonna have is, okay, so MyFractalRange is a risk management tool. You've explained that. And I would say this new data will focus more on trade execution. But can you explain maybe the difference between the two, and how one should think about it, and maybe some intro about how they should use both in conjunction with each other?
Yes, great question, and very important one is that, like I said, MyFractalRange will always be about risk profiles and risk management tools, and range is one of the main ones, and it will always be one of the main signals for people to look at. So we need to look for matchups, and matchup is a word where you need to have confirmations in multiple signals. So I always start from a range, but first I will maybe tell a quick story how it all started, that I understood that the natural step is to start providing these, even though for a couple of years I didn't want to be engaged in this, but we receive emails from our users, for example, or Twitter messages sometimes, and sometimes they sound like, "Hey, thank you, I bought stock, any ticker, let's say Apple," which is not Apple, but just for the sake of the example, "I bought Apple based on your signal, thank you very much," something like that, and then we reply, "Yeah, of course, thanks for the feedback," and so on. And then I look at that asset, and there was no signal. I mean, asset is bearish, momentum is going down, and yeah, the only you can call it signal is that in most cases, it was at the bottom of the range, which, believe me, happens more often than we would want and we would think. But I realized that the asset, the purpose of a range is a risk profile. It just tells you that for now risk is skewed to the upside or to the downside, and how wide it is. But if an asset is, let's say, at the low end of a regular term range, and asset is going down, yeah, tomorrow there will be another low end of the range, and the next day there will be another low end of the range, and so on. So obviously it's not why all these tools were created and how I believe these tools are supposed to be used. And the next, yeah, so this is the end of the story, and that's, I realized that, okay, at least now people will know, okay, I want to buy Google, let's say, because I like the stock, or Jim Cramer said that it's a good stock, or doesn't matter, for any reason, fundamental, macro, technical. Oh yeah, but so it doesn't matter what reasons you have, but you want to buy a stock, and you see that it's at the low end of the range. At least now you will know that the expected move for that stock was actually where it is trading. So at least if you really want to buy the dips, because we are not blind. I mean, we understand that on every market talk or whatever, I can repeat that don't buy bearish trends, don't short bullish trends, don't do this, don't do that. People will do it. So at least you will know that, okay, if you really want to try to start initiating position or executing something that maybe it's a statistically decent spot for you to do that, and at least you will know that if the position is not going basically immediately. What I basically immediately, I mean, of course, not intraday, but if it's not going in your favor, you will know exactly that, okay, it went down, it went below that level, I don't need that position anymore. Yeah, so how to use it with what we are already providing is not to think of it as a replacement and not to think of it as some trading signal. Think of it as a map. I really like to call it as a map for the market. What is the goal of the market? Because I said all markets are the same. Of course, cycles and rotations and movements in general are not the same, but they all move in some order. And I will even say that even when VIX is at 60, there is an order inside that chaos. Of course, everything looks totally different, but at least you will know that this move, market had its goal, and the market is about to reach at least its base goal. And if you really want to do something, then it makes sense for you to do it here. And of course, one thing I really need to mention, that's why I'm always talking about breakouts, not bounces, not mean reversions, and not other stuff, that market always wants to reach bigger goals. You can say extend the moves and so on. That's why there are other targets. And even in my tweet, there is a base case and bullish case and bearish case, because that's the beauty of it, that if market wants to take out its first goal, it will do everything to reach its another goal. So from risk management perspective, which it will also help with the main premise of my fractal range, which is risk management, of course, because you will know exactly, you execute it at these spots, and you will know exactly. If it's not going, you have no business in having this position or this. So yeah, I hope it answers.
Yeah, bye. In any case, you mentioned to me that apart from the newsletter, the idea is to focus also on some kind of teaching. I mean, basically, you would have some education regarding how to use this new tool, some live stream that you would organize. The idea would be to provide guidance in relation to these, let's say, data points.
Yes.
Is this correct? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, because I feel that at this stage, of course, there will be a lot of not only questions, but situations that will really require some additional explanations, even though we plan to create content explaining that, but ability to ask questions and to see how markets are evolving in the middle of a month or so, and how expected targets are playing out and everything. Yeah, but first newsletter, because I was not talking about newsletter yet, because the main goal is to provide targets for most common assets as a part of a My Fractal Range page where you can just see them. But newsletter will be the monthly overview of most important assets. So of course, it's not possible to touch on a lot of those, but I will do my best to touch on most important assets, where we are at, what are the potential scenarios. Of course, what I'm looking at as a potential interesting trades for me, because still, yeah, people are asking about that all the time, even though I'm mostly futures trader. But of course, I have some stock positions that I want to hold for longer time. But of course, I will touch on that. But this is not the main part. Main part, I still believe that we need to find a way. We have ideas, but the goal is to find a way to maybe meet a couple times per month to see what the market is doing, where the market is going, and where are the potential spots to do something and to manage the portfolios. So yeah, newsletter is coming for sure, but regarding guidance, I believe that the best way will be to do live streams and of course recordings for those who can't attend, but something like that. And yeah, because I, as I said, for a long time I had this idea that I want to focus only on risk management, and I don't want to go there, but I just see what's happening and how people are using the tools, and so at this step, I really think that with what is coming, another thing that is really needed will be, yeah, like you said, some guidance, and we are really thinking about how to best offer that and provide that, which is, of course, my Fractal Range will never become some trading signal service or trading guru service or something like that. But I believe with these areas and these additional numbers, guidance is required, because of course people think, hey, my Fractal Range is already providing a bunch of numbers, and now you plan to add even more numbers. So that's not something. Yeah. So it's a good question, and we are thinking that most likely it will be like private live streams for users or something like that.
Yeah, in any case, elite users, you will get access to this content, so it doesn't matter. You don't need to subscribe to anything more, and you will be able to see to receive the newsletter. The idea would be also to be able to access the history of the previous newsletter, so you can see how this thing evolve. And yeah, like Vi said, private show, so Vi could answer questions there. I want to move to the next question. So you mentioned, so yeah, the aim of it. So I've witnessed the same thing, and I know how people use the multi-factor range signals sometimes in the wrong way. But could you, for example, take a particular example on a specific ticker that you like or that you follow currently, and give us a quick run through of okay, so what are the, for example, the targets that you have for this particular ticker? What are the how to say, the pivots that you have in mind? It's just to give some quick taste of a specific ticker.
I can do that, and I can even talk not about some ticker that I like or something, but a recent trade that happened, and also my tweet where I tweeted regarding Google, because we bought Google at 148, and why we bought Google at 148 was like you said, because I think that that company will be all right, and I wanted to initiate some position. And from my pinned tweets, you see that for Google, the ticker that ends with L, the target was 1.147.8. So we were basically approaching the target. And my plan is always like this. I'm not a scalper when it comes to stocks or day trader or something, but when it comes to risk, the only way that I know how to survive in the markets and to have a successful business in this market is to be very aggressive when it comes to losses. And by aggressive, I mean no toleration of these at all. So my stop was literally $1 below. So yeah, and now we are $11 above. My process of viewing that was my fractal range was at the low end of the range, and I tweeted immediately. Of course, I don't say on tweets, hey, I'm buying, buy, or something crazy like that. That's not the point, but it is documented that it reached the low end of the range. It was bouncing off of the range, and of course, it was bearish trend, but relatively close to neutral area, but still it was a bearish trend. But I bought it not because of low end of the range. It was just important confirmation for me that, okay, we reached the target. Looks like market doesn't want to go below the target. I have a very cheap position, cheap entry. And I already explained what it means, cheap entry. It means my stop is not only well defined, but it's closed. And it's not in some random area, but in the area which for me is very significant area. And yeah, so I executed. And then I always, like I said, first of all, no toleration for losses, but then also for me, how I do things is you are scaling out of the positions. So yeah, I closed 1/4 of the position at approximately 154 because it was just another potential level for me, and now I'm holding the remainder. And the important thing is that stop is at break even. Stop is at break even, which is actually just slightly above the break even, just to cover potential slippages or so. Of course, we all understand that stops would never help us with overnight gaps or something like that, but still, that's the point. Sometimes I do it with options. Sometimes when I want to initiate a position that maybe potentially I would hold for a very, very long time, I just buy some stock. But like I said, it's not, when it comes to stocks, it's not about day trading or short-term trading or something. I want big trades. Big trades, I'm not talking about big money. I'm talking about big moves. When I say big trades, I need to make sure I'm clear. So it means if there's a low, I want to hold it to the high. If there's not a low, there's no risk, because initial risk was low, and now I already took some small amount of position off the table, and the only way that I can lose on that trade is basically, yeah, if we get overnight gap 20%, yeah, then of course stops will not help, because even with overnight trading, real stop orders don't work on these. So unless you monitor overnight or pre-market or something, yeah, not much you can do about it. But it's an example. Now pivots, yeah. So what are pivots for Google? Because it's a good question, and these pivots are really potential spots where I would sell some more, just to reduce my position even more. Of course, yearly open is 190.65. Like I said, with pivots, it's not the output of some super magical mathematical model or something, but 190 is important, and also we are above that. But I said that I sold some at close to 154. Why it was the quarterly opening price. So yeah, and of course market didn't stop there. Yeah, but this is an example. I wanted to stress that I started from the range, because if I think that if I would see the opposite situation, that there is plenty on downside on both regular and longer term, especially regular, most likely I would wait at least a day or so to see, because like I said, the significance of these orders are this, that if it goes below, you really need to get out. You really need to get out, because if it goes below and closes below, statistically it will go way lower, and by way lower usually I'm not talking about dollar or two, but way lower.
Okay, right, thanks. I think you've answered most of the questions I had in your different replies. So maybe we can move to the people listening. If any of you guys have wants to take the floor and ask a question to Vi, now is the time.
And while we are waiting, maybe you can share your own experiences, because I know that you are
Yeah,
you are
yeah.
using
So, so I actually received the guidance from Vi before everybody else, and I mean, I'm blown away. I have to tell you, I'm blown away. I mean, I have my own tools. I'm using MFR, and I thought, okay, that's good enough. And so Vi introduced the concept of levels and targets, explained to me how it works, and yeah, I tried on Tesla, tried on Bitcoin, tried when I added on Yes, and I mean, I just have to say it's mind blowing. It's just mind blowing. You mentioned to me that one of your clients told you it has helped him to hold the position longer, and I think it illustrates perfectly how to use the tool. So for myself, it helped me greatly for entries, helped me greatly for where I should take some profit, and maybe also where I can add. Let's say you are holding a winner, you want to push this winner, and I've struggled with that. I can tell you in the past. I mean, usually I will take a big position at what I consider the right place, and I'm just gonna take some out as we are moving up. but with the tool, I was able to take some profit and add back, even though we were higher. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to incorporate this into my trading, but so far it's been great. So yeah, that was my at least my story with this tool. So I'm not seeing. I don't think I'm seeing. Yeah, I'm not seeing anybody request to ask questions. Okay, so we're gonna post this video also on YouTube. So in case you want to rewatch it, of course the listening will be available still on Twitter. And as Vi said, our time frame is a release on the 1st of July. Vi is gonna post, I would guess, the June level on the June 1st.
Yes, yes.
And I mean, you just have to follow what he's doing, and you can get an idea of okay, just mark those levels, and for the next 2 months, you just take okay. Oh, he mentions this level. This is how it behaved, etc., etc. In the same time, you can start to check in conjunction with MFR to see okay, this is maybe how I could use, and yeah, then. Content will be available on the website. Content will be provided in let's say guidance videos. So yeah, the idea is to improve your trading, to actually push a winner, close losers, and yeah, make money. There's actually a request. It's somebody who we know. So let's give him the floor. Hey, SKP. Hi.
Yes, of course. So, first of all, and I tweeted that multiple times, things like from level to level, from level to level. So, of course, these are very important for me as a, first of all, depends on what I'm trading. So, if I'm trading futures, I literally add on a break of the level. So and then move my stop below that level, and this helps me a lot to increase positions. But yeah, so for intraday things, I definitely look mostly at the reaction into all these different levels that I have and that are significant. But for overall portfolios and so stocks, and for things that we aim to initiate or to hold positions and have to more conviction and reasons to hold them. Of course, what I'm looking at the range is now I will talk about long positions. You can think of short positions in the reverse, in the opposite manner. But basically, I'm looking at the longer term range, and I don't want to see things like a cap on a longer term range on the upside, because these are also very significant signals. So for example, when I see that, okay, regular term range upside and longer term range upside is at the same level, then depends on where we are at, because if we are really close to that level, then I will definitely not add to these positions, but and I will sell maybe bigger part of my position at the next level. But it's always like that confirmation with my fractal range risk, because first of all, what is the range? The range itself is a risk profile of the asset, nothing else. That's how it is supposed to be thought of and used. And of course, because assets usually don't break those ranges and stop at the lows or at the highs, people tend to use them by themselves as a trading signal, and it works quite well in bull markets or calm markets with low volatility, low VIX, but it's not how I think of it. So yeah, you want risk to be to your direction, so to the upside, for example. And I see how the ranges are behaving. So there are two scenarios, because one scenario is, of course, initiating the position. Another scenario is when you have a position. So when initiating a position, I really want to see, of course, big upside downside ratios, plenty of upside to the upside on the longer term range. I said that no caps, but like I said, if those caps are very far away, it's kind of fine. But caps are very important signals. But when you already have a position, because it respected the level, or it broke from below, broke above, and I initiated and it's going. When it comes to ranges, like I said, the only thing that I look at is if we are approaching cap and we are close to that cap. But if the question was how I use it with ranges, this is how. So I hope it answered the question. You're welcome.
Yeah, and remember, in any case, there will be this kind of live session. So you will have the levels, you will have the targets once a month, and then I will do the private show. So it will be much easier to then ask questions directly, maybe about specific ticker to him.
Yes, that's a goal, because the goal is, of course, not to spoon feed or say, hey, buy this, but the goal is to make sure that people understand what we are providing, because I think that it's a significant and valuable tool which will provide value and a lot of usefulness to the users. But at this stage, I understand that in order for that to be the case, the main goal is, of course, to have plenty of content to make sure people understand what it is and how it is supposed to be used. And yeah, of course, the ability to ask questions and to see real analysis will help. At least I think that will help to make sure that it is. Thank you.
Okay. If there are no other questions, we'll give it maybe another minute to see if anybody else has another question for you, and then we can wrap it up. I can give you another example regarding Bitcoin, because I mean, if you guys follow me on Twitter, on my own account, Vola, you know, I have a friend who's my ultimate contra in Bitcoin. It's basically he's taking huge positions and always at the wrong time with the wrong mindset. And when I was so for reasons Vi helped me to determine, I took the long position. And I told him, okay, I'm taking the long position. And he was saying, oh, I'm waiting for the retest of 80 something thousand. But the thing is, when you get to the levels Vi provided, it was, if it was holding, it was gonna rocket. I mean, that was as simple as that. And the levels were holding. So
yeah, so the pivots versus targets is actually a good example, because okay, 104,960 is the base case target, and for now market tried to take it, and of course then it fell a couple of thousand. Now it's approaching it again, but still below it, but it's a target. It's a better. Rafael bought at 93,400, something like that. And what is that price? Because 93,300 is, like I said, not some black magic, it's yearly open. That's all it is. And the importance, not a lot of people think of these numbers as very important, because of course, sometimes you see tweets that, hey, ES now is green for the year or red for the year or whatever, but it's just people think of it as some narrative. So, but the importance of this is actually huge. So, and I said, come on, if it fails to go below that 93, buy it and hold till 104,000. So yeah, it's a good example, but actually the better why this example is so good, that actually initiation was at the pivot, and the pivot is like I said, yearly open.
Yeah, so no questions incoming, right? So I think we can wrap it up. In any case, we will send you guys some news when it's going to come out. You're gonna receive some pop-ups on the website to tell you when it's coming. If you want to maybe change your subscription, especially for the people who are premium, you will have to upgrade to Elite. So yeah. But enjoy the next free data from VAI in June. Please mark them on your charting platform and watch them for a month. I mean, you're gonna see it's black magic. Okay, right.
Yes, thanks everyone. Yeah, and we will do our best to give as much information as possible before the launch, and of course to provide content with the explainers and more information about that. Yeah, so thanks everyone for joining. Thank you for questions.
Thank you, Vai. Thank you, everyone.